Hey, and welcome to Superhero Hierarchy. I'm Nathan.
I'm Chris.
Today we are reviewing Avengers 2012. We're going to review Avengers on heroes, villain, plot, sound, visuals, and fun factor, each one from 1 to 20 for a total of 100 points. We're going to lead off with heroes. This one's kind of fun because there's a whole team, well, mostly a whole team of heroes. Chris, what'd you think?
I liked when the heroes got together, when they finally all came together.
When they became the Avengers, actually?
When they became the Avengers. I kind of liked how I enjoyed the setup of it. A big conflict that required all six or so. And then I liked how they kind of sporadically kind of came into the mix. You know, first it was Cap, then Iron Man joined him, and so on and so forth.
I have a hard time with what they did with Hawkeye. First of all, is he really anything because he uses a bow and arrow? I know he's like a pun of an Avenger, but he spends half the movie as a bad guy.
I agree. I didn't like that either because I was actually looking forward to Hawkeye because this was our first time to really see him. We just got teased in Thor, but then when they got rid of him essentially from the get-go, they kind of just discarded him as just a henchman to Loki.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do with him. Cap was good. One thing I noticed was Captain America's uniform is like shockingly bright blue.
Yes, it is shockingly. It is like, just bright. It grabs the eye.
It's something else. It's really bad. And everybody else has a pretty good uniform. Oh, the other thing I noticed, Thor, they were still trying to do the Thor speaks like Shakespeare.
Yes, they were. I didn't mind it still. I kind of like that aspect. Like he's not from here. He's from a different time. So I have to say I kind of like that. And I agree. He did have his
Did you notice that half the movie, Thor doesn't have his cape? The whole time on the helicarrier, Thor's got no cape. What did he do with it?
Well, you know this. When he raises his hand and summons lightning with his hammer, he then can get his full outfit on.
His full regalia?
So to answer your question, it comes through the lightning, Nathan. It comes through the lightning.
It's a lightning cape. Black Widow was great in this. Definitely better than in her solo movie. She's awesome.
She is good. Yes, she's like, well, if you think of it, she's with S.H.I.E.L.D. at the moment. They're still S.H.I.E.L.D. and she's kind of like the OG in S.H.I.E.L.D. So she's, showing everybody the ropes, essentially. She's
really cool.
With where
I like the I'm interrogating this guy scene. It's awesome.
I love it. And you know what? Because you keep knocking Black Widow, I liked how they harken back to that in the Black Widow movie at the end. I liked still her negotiating style.
Yeah, I guess so.
Props to Black Widow 2021 on that one.
Oh, and Iron Man. Iron Man is probably at his best in this movie or close to at his best in this movie.
I know we're supposed to have conflict and kind of bicker. That's what we're kind of good at just in our daily conversations anyway. But I agree. I loved Iron Man in this. He was a standout and he was at his true Iron Man form. Tony Stark form, essentially. I loved his quips. When he first walked into the bridge on the helicarrier and I was just like, bobbing off.
It's like a whole stand-up routine.
Oh, it is. It's fantastic. I think I did rewind that part.
It was pretty good. All right. What'd you give Heroes? This one's pretty, I feel like we're going to be pretty close. What'd you give Heroes?
I gave them a 17.
I give them an 18.
All right. Nice.
I think they did a really good job. The only miss really was Hawkeye even being in the movie, maybe.
I agree.
All right. Villain. There's only one of them. I found him underwhelming. I didn't remember this, but he is not intimidating. He's kind of sniveling and like, this isn't my fault. I can't help myself the whole time.
He's a weasel. You know what? Again,
yeah.
I know I'm actually surprised that we're agreeing on this. I agree. At the time, if you remember, Dark Knight Rises was coming out. And so I was still in that mindset of realism. Then compared to watching Loki then and even now, I know he's the main bad guy in Avengers, but he still feels like he's, again, a henchman. I don't feel like he's not a threat.
He's not a threat. And I was thinking about this. So he has 2 Infinity Stones in his possession. He does nothing with them. The only thing, he has 2 Infinity Stones, and all he can think to do is like brainwash Hawkeye. That's
Yeah.
it. He doesn't do anything else. It's kind of sad. It's I feel sad for Loki. Like he's not a villain. He's the worst villain. He's really bad. I know we can get into more of this into plot, but his plan doesn't make any sense. His plan is to get caught so he can get Hulk mad, and he accomplishes it, but the plan is so bad he still fails. It's like such a bad plan. Even successfully accomplishing your mission, you fail. I don't understand it.
I didn't understand any of it, and I didn't understand the hoopla. Actually, when I was first watching Avengers, I didn't know what the hell was going on half the time. I didn't get half of it. I wasn't really into the MCU at the time. Not that we had much to go off of anyway, but I was just like, well, why are they fighting this? And then it turned out to be, anyway, we can talk on
You
plot,
know what it was? It was because of, you brought up The Dark Knight Rises, but it was because the whole, in The Dark Knight, the Joker gets himself captured, and they thought, oh, you know what we need? Villains need to get captured. Because that happened in this, and then what happens in Skyfall, James Bond Skyfall as well. Like that villain gets captured for absolutely no reason too. They're like, oh, people really like when the villain gets captured. But it only works in one of those movies. The other two, you're like, why are they getting captured?
There was no
zero sense.
Especially made zero sense.
Loki's got 2 Infinity Stones. Do something with it. Don't just think I'm going to get captured.
He handed both of them off. The only thing he carried around was his glow stick of destiny, but he handed off the cube to the crazy doctor from Thor. That was it.
I know.
And they needed that apparatus to then actually use what it's actually supposed to be used for. I didn't get that part. It was interesting because I liked Loki, the character. Like, he was charismatic. I liked his scenes, but he was not a good, intimidating villain that I wanted to see.
No, you never think, oh, he's going to beat the Avengers. All right, what'd you give him score?
I gave it a 10.
I'm going to give him an 8.
All right.
It's just he was super, super underwhelming. Okay, so that leads into it. We kind of talked about it, but plot. I'll give you the 15-second plot summary. Loki shows up on Earth with 1 Infinity Stone, immediately takes the 2nd Infinity Stone, gets himself captured so that way he can get Hulk mad, and then he's going to open a portal to let the aliens in. That's the whole plot.
Yeah, to take over New York for some reason.
Yeah, he goes to Germany. He has this really bad scene where he gouges some guy's eye out, which is like, ugh, it's really icky.
I actually forget what they were retrieving from that building.
They were just getting his eye. That's it.
That made, the whole
just like a news flash. If you have mind control powers, why wouldn't you just tap the guy and make the guy, like, mind control the guy over to the thing instead of gouging his eye out? Just a thought.
True. Yeah, but I think they're in 2 different locations. So they were at like the symphony or wherever the heck they were.
You could have had the guy leave the symphony. I don't know.
Nathan, it's a 2.5 hour movie. They don't have time for that.
They don't have. They have to have a scene where some guy gets his eye gouged out.
Yep. Actually, what I really want to bring up, man, see what you think on this. The end, when they're basically at the end of the storyline for the helicarrier, and they're figuring out where is Loki's going to have this climactic like finality. I didn't understand Tony Stark's like thought process to be like, it's going to be at my Stark Tower. I didn't understand that. I didn't know how they got from he was basically destroying them on the helicarrier to now it's going to now destroy Stark's. I think it was a big jump and being like, oh, he wants to have this big like grand opening of like beating the Avengers.
He tells them stuff about like, he talks about like needing clean energy and all this stuff. You know what I didn't like in the manufactured plot stuff was the like, there's a conflict with S.H.I.E.L.D. We're all fighting on the helicarrier for some reason. Oh, it's resolved. You're like, why even have any of that conflict? I don't really understand.
There was no need for it. Yeah.
No.
As quickly, what were they retrieving? Oh, yeah, they got the stick back.
Yeah, they got the stick. They all fight, and then they just like kind of, get back together, get along again. It's not a very good plot.
No, it's not. He could have basically picked up where they left off in Germany and continued on the story. So he could have went from just Germany and flew to New York and had the same outcome.
Yeah. There's no reason for him to get captured. Maybe it would have been a better outcome.
Maybe it would have been a quicker movie.
Yeah. All right. What'd you give plot?
I'm rolling with a 10.
I'm going to go with a 12. I just was trashing it, but at least it's fast paced.
It is fast paced. And also, all right, caveat, it's fun.
Sound and visuals. I'll go right out there. The sound and visuals are really good. Like that was this movie. Other than like the really weird Captain America uniform, sound and visuals are excellent. Especially like the Avengers theme song. I've got it like playing in the back of my head now.
All right, I am too. I was never impressed by the Avengers theme song. I really have to say I never was. And honestly, in thinking back for sound and visuals, aside from when Iron Man shows up playing AC/DC, what other? I mean, the sound of like what a helicarrier would make. I don't.
Yeah, what is that sound? What is that sound? Also, just to kind of go back, the helicarrier is like the worst device. Apparently, all it takes is one arrow to knock out an entire engine.
But it's a Hawkeye arrow.
It's one.
So that means it's magical.
Arrow.
Yeah. So all the shield's powers, and you're right. He just fired while they were in midair in two separate flying vehicles.
Just imagine if it's like two guys with grenades. That whole helicarrier is just falling out of the sky in 2 seconds. Anyways, sound and visuals. I like the visuals. You're right. Maybe the sound isn't that great. The visuals are good. The scene where they're like, Avengers assemble. That's kind of like what everybody was waiting for.
That was cool. No, but that was well done. I liked how the camera like spanned and kind of did the circle thing, and you see everybody, being badass in their own right.
Yeah, it's good. And you know what is good? The character design on the Chitauri was really cool. Like that big Leviathan, like rolling through New York, like down the alleyways. It's awesome.
That was cool. And actually, yeah, that was pretty cool. Actually, I have to say, I think Endgame retroactively made Avengers better for me.
Yeah, that's possible. I remember seeing Avengers, the first time, really liking it. And then I think when I saw it again, I kind of started thinking about like the plot holes and like how weak Loki was. But yeah, retroactively, it's pretty good. I think. Oh,
quickly, I have to say, you know what? My take is literally the opposite of yours. I was coming out of the theater going like, man, I don't understand anything. I didn't know who the purple guy was at the end that everyone was like freaking out over. I didn't understand it or get it at all. But after viewing it a few times, I'm like, I just appreciate it for what it was. It was just a fun, superhero romp. It was, compared to
it's a fun romp. Exactly. Yeah. And I think now expectations are higher. So at the time, absolutely. In my 2012 brain, that was pretty good. It was pretty good. All right, sound and visuals, what'd you give it? I'm going to give it a 13.
Oh, right below you, 12.
12, okay. All right, fun factor. Well, I'll tell you this. I had a lot of fun with it. It's a fun movie. It's super fast-paced, and there's lots of jokes, and it's not intense. Oh, can I just back up a sec?
Yeah.
Did they shoot a nuclear missile at New York City?
Oh, they sure did. Oh, Nathan, they sure did. For no reason. I loved how the darkened shadows on the TV monitor was saying that we have no other option.
I know that's like we need an artificial threat, but they were just like, you know what we need to do? Let's just shoot a nuclear missile.
Yeah.
It's like the cheapest threat there is. Like, you wouldn't do that. There's like 8 million people there. Plus Fallout's going to affect like 30 million people. That's really messed up.
Oh, the Northeast is gone.
The whole Northeast is gone.
Yeah, at least Batman had the good sense to take it out to sea.
Like, the Chitauri are not that bad. If you're talking about 6 people, one of them using a bow and arrow are able to stop your entire army.
They're just so many. It's just fodder. They're just like, guys to take down for action scenes. That's it. No threat.
Yeah, there wasn't anything to it.
Yeah, it's it's the Space Foot Clan.
It is. It's like the Space Foot Clan. They actually look shockingly like.
Actually, they do.
Ninja Turtle enemies. That's what I think about it. That's not good. We needed Krang.
Is that what something like? Yeah, we needed the brain wiggling around.
Oh yeah. Ugh. Yeah, but that being said, I had a lot of fun with it. You know what is the best in this movie? Hulk is hysterical. He is really funny. Like, Hulk is by far the best part of the movie.
I do love it. You know what? I had a lot of fun with this too. And as always, I liked when they were just hanging out, on the helicarrier, and they were just having their conversations, whether it be on the bridge or in the lab. I liked some of the jokes right off the bat when Cap was like, I don't know what's going on. And then he understood the Wizard of Oz reference. I thought that was funny.
Was it a Wizard of Oz reference? I like
the flying monkeys. He's like, oh, I get that.
Oh, okay.
That's just because he knew who Julie Gardner
Julie Gardner was. I like that. Iron Man called him Spangly.
Yes. Because he absolutely was. I mean, I thought it was the 4th of July when I watched the movie.
Oh, it's just the worst uniform. I can't get over how bad that was. I was like, so that went through a committee. A bunch of people were like, we need a super bright blue, but like a baby blue. It's not.
It is. Would you even say maybe royal? Like, it's just, it hits you in the face.
It's like, oh.
Well, they were just trying to make it, his quote unquote superhero outfit for like the modern age. So I got what they were doing, but it was, yeah, it was much better when he had the hood down and he was just kind of hanging out.
Oh, and the hood is just like, it's literally a hoodie.
It is a hoodie.
It's a literal hoodie. I don't know. What'd you give fun factor?
All right. For fun, I gave it 18. It was a fun movie.
I'll give it a 17. I'm right there with you. It's pretty good. All right. But Nathan.
I've been Chris.
We've been the superhero hierarchy.